Um, Hi, my name's Christian. I'm 17 years old. I have written down I wrote my story down here so that I can get it all straight as I say it. Um, I live in Boston Bar and I go to high school here. A few weeks ago, the ministry tried to kidnap me from school. I was at school like every other day. A police officer came into my class and asked to have a word with me. So of course I said yes and told my teacher I was going to go speak with the officer. I thought we'd talk in the hall, but when we got into the hall, he ushered me into a cold room in the side with two women sitting in the dark. They introduced themselves as Penny and Jen. They asked me if I was comfortable to write a police report about alleged violence in my home. There is no violence in my home, and I told them that I would not be writing a report because there was no violence in my home. They insisted there was, and they gave absurd, conflicting statements such as my brother and sister were removed from my home, and then said Roman and Emily left on their own terms and the ministry was not involved at all. Then they informed me that my brother tried to commit suicide and that they blamed my mom. I had been having a great time living with my mom and dad here. I have been. And they've been at my birth father's for 2 years now, so I didn't see how it could be my mom's fault when my bio dad's always been so abusive my whole life. Also, when I asked for more information about my brother, they told me that they cannot get any info on children outside of the province. When I asked about how they got the information they shared about Roman, they said it was none of my business. Then they told me I was never going home again. I said, I'm going home right now. And they said I was going home. I was not going home and that they'd meet me there with police officers. I said again I was going home and that I had built a fence and that they were not allowed past it. Then I got up feeling so afraid I couldn't stop myself from screaming, "Help! I'm being kidnapped!" As I walked to my class, I grabbed my stuff and told my teacher, Mr. Salloway, I needed help. He told me to go to the principal's office. I went to the office and told Miss Devine I was afraid and I was being kidnapped by the ministry, who was in the science lab in the dark. She said she didn't even know the ministry was in the office, was in the school. Never mind pulling a child from class. She went and talked to the ministry and then asked if I'd talk to them one more time with her present. So in front of my principal, I told the ministry I was not abused by my mom and my stepdad, but I had told them about being abused by my bio dad, and they never listened, and they're still not listening. So I said I was going home one last time. Walking out, another police officer arrived along with a mental health worker. I felt so afraid I ran all the way home. I made it home in time to get to my doctor's appointment that the ministry was informed about, to get checked out for STIs because I had been taken advantage of by a volunteer teacher at school. The absurd thing is, the ministry was trying to take me from my safe, loving home and put me in the care of a woman who seriously took advantage of my innocence and stole my virginity and further hit me and called me names. Not to mention, she had sex with multiple partners, which is why the test's for me. I'm clean, by the way. When I got home from the doctor, Penny Trites and Jennifer Muscle, along with 3 police officers and a mental health worker, were waiting for me. I felt sick. I was so afraid. I told them they were not allowed to go on my property. They demanded I go with them and relocate to the West Coast. That was crazy. I said no. They turned their attention to my mom and flung accusations at her. They went as far as demanding she lift up her shirt and prove that she wasn't injuring herself. My mom willingly complied with Jennifer, and Jennifer told her to lift up her shirt higher. My mom did. There was no injury. Seemingly satisfied, Jennifer Muscle said she wanted to do a home inspection, and then came through every part of my house with Officer McLean, and then Jen told me that my house was good and safe, and she supported us. But as quickly as she speaks, weeks later, she accused my family again, and further told me she did not support me, nor would she offer any support while I lived at my home that I am living in now. The ministry is still not listening, but maybe someone out there will. My name is Christian. I'm 17 years old. The Ministry of Children and Families, BC, tried to kidnap me from my safe and loving home while I was at school without anyone knowing. Not my parents, not my principal, not my friends. I was told I was never allowed to go home again. I would get nothing from home from my life, as I knew it was going to be erased. The ministry bullied and abused me with a show of force and fear tactics. My parents raised me to be thoughtful and discerning, and I know when I'm being abused, and I'm calling the ministry out on their abuse. Stop abusing us.